Hiya, it's LindaLee, and I've been working on some papers, getting them ready for Eco Dyeing tomorrow. And if you've been kind of following along with the Eco Dyes themselves and the reveals, I've been complaining because I ran out of envelopes that come unglued with the Eco Dye. So little envelopes like this. So basically what happens is once we go through the whole process, the glue comes undone, and when they dry, you know, they can be completely opened up. So when I make journals, typically this can be used to journal on the inside, and then it can be folded back up. Well, I've been looking for these type of envelopes and I haven't really found any, but I have an envelope maker. So there's no reason why I can't make them myself, and I don't have to use glue at all. I just kind of fold them the way they're supposed to be folded, and then do my Eco Dyes like I normally do, and then I should get something similar to this. Maybe not this exact size, but yeah, I don't know why I didn't think about it before. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut down some paper for an Eco Dye tomorrow, and I'm going to include something that I can make an envelope about this size with, and we'll just see how it turns out. I have that really thin tracing paper, well, not tracing, it's called sketch paper. So I have some of that, and then I have some of the mixed media paper that I typically use. I also have some really heavyweight watercolor paper, but I'm not going to use any of that. But I am going to do like 10 pieces of the lightest weight paper for envelopes. I think I'm going to make the envelopes, I'm not sure if you can see it. Oh, I think I got it now. So it's like 8 1/4, 8 7/8, 8 1/4, 8 1/2 by 8 1/2. I like the 8 7/8 size best. So we're gonna try for that. I'm gonna cut like maybe 4, 5 pieces at one time. So I think it was 8 7/8. So this would be 4 8s, 5, 6, 7 8s. Now the trick to using that envelope maker is that the paper be a true square. If it's not a true square, then it's not going to work real well. So now I have hopefully a true square. So let me cut a few more pieces. Move this over so you can see it. So again, 8 7/8. I've had this paper cutter for, I want to say 30, 40 years. I think I had it when I was in college. I don't know. So it would have been like 37 years. And then I'll show you how to use the envelope punch board so that we can fold these down. So now I have these cut-offs, or offcuts, I guess they're really called. And I'll probably just save those for a different project. But I do have this bigger paper. Now, when I do the Eco Dyes, my pot, this is 9 by 12. 9 by 12. And my pot, when these papers are folded, will only handle 8 by 6. So I have to cut the 1 inch off so that this is only 8 inches. It's actually a little more than an inch that I'm cutting off because of the little squares that are on the edges. But this is where I get the papers to make my slides, you know, the little vacation slides that I've put in a couple of my journals. And then what I do is I glue them together. I color them up, and then I put little pictures on them. So that's 8 inches. And I don't have to cut it this length at all because it's already 12. So let me just cut a few more of those. 2 more. Actually, I think I got like 3 in here. So 8 inches. Can you see the top? Maybe not. But you can see it right here in the middle of the board. It's 8 inches. So these I'm just going to fold in half, and then I need a few pieces that are just 4 by 6 once they're cut. So I'm going to leave this at 9. I'm just going to cut off the little edge that has the holes on them, and then cut this in half. So 4.5. So 5, I'm at 4.5. And then we cut it in half. So this is 12. So I bring it down to 6. See how it's 6 right here? And that's where I get the little pieces that I do in the Eco Die. So 6. Alrighty. So now let's get rid of this big paper cutter. And now we're going to use this punch board. So when I was showing you and cutting the 8 7/8, it's 3. This is so little I can't even see it. Can you guys see it? Tell me what it is. Okay, so it's 3 3/4. So we take our square piece of paper. I line it up at 3 3/4. So I line it up right here, and I drag it across the paper, and that's my fold line. And then I push that, and it punches, so you can see. So then this line I match up with this little tail piece. Doesn't matter what it says up here. I just match it up, and again I go ahead and I follow that fold line and push. And now if I did it right, this should still match up to 3 3/4. How's it look? It looks right on. Can you guys see that? And then the last one. We just line it up, punch, score. So now this envelope's a little bigger than the one that I showed you. But now I have an envelope. I don't have to worry about the glue coming apart or not. All I have to do is layer it in when I'm setting up my eco dye. So now I have an envelope. Now, what I usually do is just use one of these pieces of paper. I'm going to line it up side to side, and I'm going to fold it so I know where to cut it. Then once I get everybody to this point, I'll line them all up and cut this at the same time. But then when that's gone, then this will be just flat. I won't have that little point in the middle. So that's all I'm doing. I'm making envelopes, but I wanted to kind of show you guys. It was kind of here, I'm going to do two at the same time. It was kind of a little silly where I've been looking for the envelopes when I can just make them. So 3 7/8. Line up my score line. Line up my score line again. So anybody who's ever used this punch board and have had issues with it, I want you to go back to it now. Make sure you have a square piece of paper, and I promise you it'll work. Okay. So now I have two more that I just need to fold. And cut off the pointy part. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you don't mind, I'm just going to keep on finishing. You guys don't have to hang out. In fact, I'm going to stop the recording because I will see you again probably tomorrow. Not sure I had that one lined up properly, but okay. I have a few more that I'm going to fold, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to cut. I'm going to use the big cutter again, only because it's easier to line things up. Alrighty. So now I have the flat part. Alright, I'm going to just keep on doing it a little more. We'll see you when I do the eco dye. Bye. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you later, my friends. Hiya, it's LindaLee. Welcome back. And we are rinsing out an eco dye today that is just Coleus and beet juice. I'm expecting a lot of this to be just variations of brown because red and green make brown. So I have some fabric in here that we're going to see as well. I didn't do anything yet as far as the rinsing, or all I did is I I used some of the paper envelopes that you hopefully just saw, as long as I got it edited in okay. And fabric. I have some fabric inside the bundle too. And here are my rusty bits that were in the pot. So I always have rusty bits, white vinegar, and alum. So just drain that rest of that. And so now what'll happen is by the time I do another eco dye, those drill bits in the bottom of the pot will get rusty. So here we go. This water or this fabric got pretty dark. This piece of lace right here actually was white, and it looked like it had been like dipped in coffee because only some of the edges were like brownish. And I wanted a little more of a consistent color all the way through, regardless what it was. And everything looks kind of gray, not even brown, at least so far. So we'll see how it dries. And like always, what I'll do is I will mark the dry reveal minutes so you can jump right to that part if you don't want to go through the whole rinse. But this is one of the fabrics that I had when I did the carpetbagger journal. I had done part of it purple, and this is the other part. So I was hoping that it would look a little more like maybe almost like a burlap type of thing. So it kind of does. We'll see what it looks like when it dries. I don't want to rinse it too much. All right, so now the plant I used was only the Coleus. I didn't use any other, no ferns, no arbicola, no hibiscus. I couldn't even use hibiscus if I wanted to. The landscapers totally decimated the poor plants up front. So we're gonna have to wait a few weeks before I use them. Oh, and my arbicola in front of the apartment, it was just starting to get some nice new growth, and they cut it all off. So let's see, can you guys see? Is it light enough? Do I have a light out? No, I don't. So I have some assorted weighted papers in here. I have my mixed media paper, I have some of the drawing paper, and I have some sketch paper in here. How cool is that? The envelopes that I made, remember, those were out of the sketch paper, so those are going to be really, really lightweight, but should be good. Oh no, this one's ripping already. This is pretty cool. And these leaves are really, really big. So a lot of the papers are only going to be like one leafed. Nice. So I was pretty right. There's lots of brown. Usually what I end up doing when I do something with beet juice is end up throwing coffee in it. This time I didn't. I was very disciplined. It was hard. We've definitely got some greens and browns. I wish my light was a little better. Well, on camera, I guess it looks okay. The rinse is a lot easier than doing the ferns, because with the ferns, I have all those little bitty leaves. I'm going to try and do this fairly quick. We've been having some pretty good storms, so the internet keeps going out. I can do this on my cellular mode, but that signal isn't the best. Pretty. Like how dark this is right here. I think this is one of my envelopes underneath. Try and be really careful. Actually, I'm gonna lighten up the flow of water a little bit. Oh no, this is my fabric. So what I did is I took some bits of cotton. So this was a vintage cotton sheet, and I kind of folded it and then kind of accordion wise just put leaves in between. So here she is on the one side, and here she is on the other side. Hopefully I'm in frame so you can see that. Pretty cool. Wonder what it looks inside, because this is actually folded in half. So let's see what it looks like on the inside. Maybe. Everything's pretty stuck together. Cool, it went all the way through. So that's the back side. I'm not going to pull it all the way apart. Once it's dry, we'll take a closer look at it. Nice. See the fabric now? Isn't that cool?
Very nice.
I have another piece in here too on the very bottom that's like that. So. Kind of easy to take apart, not having all those extra leaves. And here is one of my homemade envelopes. There's the front, and this is the flap side. So there's no glue in here. Let's see if it'll... Perfect.
So the only thing I have to kind of figure out is the cost of the paper. You know, is it cheaper just to buy a box of envelopes or to use the paper? So I have to kind of break it down per and figure out which way it works better. But at least I know, or remember, I should say, that I can make my own envelopes. So look at how cool that is. This is a nice dark grungy one. Awesome. Want to see?
Oh, that's beautiful. Very nice.
This is another envelope. There's the other side. So at time of filming, it's actually Friday night. So I should be getting ready to go live because I'm working on my 20-piece junk mail project. But I didn't want to let this wait because the longer it sits wet, the more delicate the paper ends up being. So So here it looks like I got a good amount of green in this one, a lot more so than the others. So we're getting further down into the pot. Not that that makes any difference, but sometimes there is a little bit of variation. Little 4.5 by 6 piece of mixed media paper. And this is another envelope. So I think I did maybe, I don't know, 6 envelopes, 5 or 6. I had made 10, but I didn't pick enough leaves, I guess, to do all of it. That's cool. Ooh, look at how they darken this one. Nice. It's a little more yellowy brown instead of the darker brown. And this is an envelope. I do not believe this is one that I made though. I think this is a larger one that I have. Yeah. How cool. Okay. I think we only have like maybe a couple more layers. Okay, here's another envelope that is not one that I made. It's a little bit larger. So what I do is, a lot of times the cards themselves that go to these the larger envelopes, I use them for tags or collaging or as pages in other projects. And then the random envelopes, I just either I set them aside to alter or use in my eco die. It smells like artichokes. It does. Smells like the artichoke water after we've prepared them. And then sometimes I make a lentil soup out of the artichoke broth that remains. Isn't this cool? This is one of my envelopes. So I haven't really done too much with the envelopes yet. I'm thinking of putting them in sets. We'll see. Okay, and then this is the last little bundle, and it looks like the rest is the other little piece of fabric or cotton that I had done. So these actually came out a little lighter than the ones that were on the other side, I think. All right. So now I just have to lay them all out so that they'll dry, and then we'll do one more review and put it all together for everybody. All right, I'm done for now. We'll see ya in a well, it'll be a little bit for me, but it'll just be a couple seconds for you.
See you soon. Welcome back. And this is the dry reveal of the Beets and Coleus batch of Eco Dye. We've got some really cool grunge going on in this one. So I have some fabrics to show you, of course, but first we're going to look at the prints themselves. We got some awesome dark. Look at this. I don't know how this happens. I'm not sure what is really going on for it to be so dark in certain areas. Look at the detail on the edge of the leaves too, though. Isn't that cool? Every batch, you just don't know. I say it all the time with Eco Dye, especially to people who haven't done it yet. You just don't realize until you've done it that there is absolutely no control whatsoever as to what happens. But this is just one single leaf in between. So one is the front and one is the back. This is the front, this is the back of the same single leaf. Isn't that cool? And I have a couple of papers. Oh, we're not there yet. This is all my mixed media paper. At least so far. And these next two pieces are actually the sketch paper. So this is the lightest weight of all of them. But same results really. It was just a little more delicate handling taking them all apart. And then so those are the 8x12 double-sided prints. And let's go ahead and look at the smaller ones. These are 4.5 by 6. Same awesome results. Variations across the board. But the leaves were so big that we only have like part of the leaves in each little piece of paper. There's not very many that have a whole leaf in it because they were so big. So as always, you can always message me or even email me. My contact information is in the description part of the video. So those are the little ones. And now we have some envelopes. So these 3 envelopes are like greeting card envelopes, I guess is the right. And they are glued. They don't come apart. And the last one of the greeting card envelopes. And then the next 3 or 4, I thought I did more of them, but I guess I didn't, are the envelopes that I made. So they are not glued. They totally open up and are available for like journaling on the inside. You of course can glue them shut, but that's up to you whether you want to glue them or not. Here's the next one. It looks so cool, even on the inside. And the next. And the last one. Am I in frame? I haven't even been looking. Hopefully this has all been in frame. Otherwise I just redo it again. Alright, and now the fabrics. So the fabrics, this was a white piece of cotton lace, and it originally was coffee dyed. But it only really had black ridges on like one side of the edge. In fact, I think this was actually gifted to me by somebody. But I just threw it in the brew while it was boiling. So it turned out this really cool grayish color. This here is, again, as I explained, that same fabric that I had dyed when I was trying to figure out what fabric to use for the Carpetbagger journal. And it just looks like a worn burlap. It's really cool. And then the cotton parts that are stitched on top and the white thread didn't take to any of the color. So it looks really, really cool. So this will probably find its way to some kind of journal cover somewhere along the way. But even this edge right here, how cool that is. And then the cotton fabric. So the cotton fabric is a piece of this right here. It's a vintage cotton sheet, so it's really soft and thin. Actually, it doesn't feel soft after going through that process. It has like a little bit of a stiffness, almost like it was starched. but look at the detail on the leaves. So again, what I did is kind of had it accordion style. Let me flip it over. So this was the bottom. I had a leaf, and then I flipped it, and then I put a leaf, and then I flipped it, and I put a leaf, and I flipped it. So it was all accordion. But it went through and stained both sides of the fabric. And if we open it up, this is the back side of the fabric. Doesn't that look cool? I'm going to be sad when this fabric is all gone because it takes to everything so nicely. I'm going to have to thrift and see if I can find a nice old soft vintage sheet again. But this is the front side. And I have one more piece. I actually had 2 of these in the brew. So this is the second one, where the leaf was in here, and a leaf was in here, and then a leaf was in there. So this is a little darker, I think, than the other one. This is the back side. And this is the front side. Isn't it gorgeous? And this one on the end, down here. So pretty. So that's everything. Everything that was part of this batch. And I just might do this whole scenario again. It took me a little while to collect that much beet juice though, so it might be a little while, but I will do this whole combination one more time. And all my plants have been brutally trimmed by our landscapers, so it might be a little bit before I get some of them. The only ones that they don't cut are my ferns. So maybe we'll do something with ferns, and I think the last one we did with just ferns was with coffee, so maybe we'll try something different. But hopefully you like them. Thanks for hanging out and watching. I always appreciate your support. Any kind of comments and thumbs up, those always help, especially with the YouTube algorithms. And feel free to share. If you want any of the prints, feel free to message me. My contact information is also in the description if I didn't already say. So thanks again for hanging out, and we'll see you soon. Take care, my friends. Stay safe. Bye-bye.